Hi, my name is Marilyn Abair, and I live in West Hollywood. I am a filmmaker, actor. I'm known for The Zombie Diaries, The Survival Games, Recipe for Love, Here Comes the Bride, and other award winning short films. I'm reporting you today from West Hollywood. Several things that we noticed that have changed is the grocery stores, obviously. They're letting few people come in at a time into Trader Joe's, which is nice. You have the whole place to yourself. You don't feel like you have to run down the aisle and dart under someone's leg and grab a toilet paper if they put it in the aisle. Um, you have some distance from people, but at the same time, it is a very unsurreal feeling, very undercurrent of stress. Looking at people, they're looking at you. We don't know if we're supposed to trust that we should even be in the grocery store. And you're grabbing things that you really don't want to have to grab extra of. In my opinion, I don't want to grab stuff to hoard or to have it in my apartment for long periods of time. But some people are grabbing things that they think they need to stock up on, which is a good idea. There's some people that have a year supply. I know someone that's best friend is a billionaire, and they're on a yacht, cruising around with screen TV, big, movie theaters, jacuzzis, saunas, spas with a year supply of food and a private chef. So, but that's unrealistic for most people. Most people are spending their last paycheck to buy food and water and the basic things that people need, like eggs and a vegetable, a pasta, rice. So many of us lost our jobs. We were all mainly, I would say, artists, musicians. We work in the restaurant. We're hosts. We're servers. We're bartenders. We're your grocery store clerk. We're your hotel worker. Your worker at Ross. Your worker at your weed store. Your clothing store. Your shoe store. Your any kind of store that you go to, Rite Aid, 7-Eleven, the gas station. Many people work in doctors' offices or in offices, in production, 1099. So those of us that have lost our jobs can't work at home because you need to be able to physically go on a set if you're an actor. You need to be physically go on the set if you're a production assistant or a director's assistant or the craft service person. There's many people that just can't work from home. I have a podcast that I do, and I'm excited that the podcast people are joining around the world because I found out that it's cheering up kids that are stuck at home. That I had no idea that podcasts that I created and produced would give so much joy to people, which is very, very touching, very nice. So we're working on more podcasts for the kids so they can read them at home. It's called Enchanting Book Reviews. It's being well received in Italy, which is, my family's there right now. They fortunately are in the south of Naples, which right now isn't, they're okay. It's northern Italy, which is suffering the most right now. There's so many conflicting stories. There's a lot of stories that you want to ask questions about, but no one will tell you about. You hear reports of brave, brave heroes, like the doctor in China who let us know really what was happening. That's a hero. The two volunteers in Italy, the two guys, when they were out of the valves, the printing valves, I'm not sure the name of the two men without referring to my notes, but the supply of these valves weren't able to arrive in time. So they ask for the blueprint so they can make it to save people's lives. They're volunteers working for free to save people's lives. And when a company denies you to help people with their product, a journalist and a human being with a heart that only cares to save and to help, they made the valves, and they made them for $1, and they saved people's lives. But to hear that the company might be trying to sue them is just unfathomable. They're not profiting off of it. They're not reproducing it. It was just that emergency situation. So things like that should be, should have a pardon effect if people are just helping one another. And, people are going, if we're supposed to stay at home, you see people on the beaches in Florida demanding, I want my freedom, I want to go play. And then there's people abiding by the rules that are staying home and only going out to go to the grocery store, only going out to just take a walk, to go get their dog walk, and trying to abide by the rules. So you see some people here, I want my freedom, I want to go out on the beach. So while you're enjoying your freedom, how many people do you pass it to because you were near someone who had it, causing a huge domino effect that can hurt so many people? But then I stayed home going, well, my window was close to the sidewalk and it's airborne. Anybody that walks by and coughs, it comes into my house. I walk outside, somebody walked by. So you're like, do you wear gloves? Where do you get the mask? Do you keep your shoes outside? When I kept my shoes outside, someone took my shoes. So the things that have changed the most is to feel like you're scared of someone else, that you would give them the look of, like, when you're walking, you're giving them the look, they're giving you the look, everyone's looking down, we're avoiding each other and becoming this fear of one another. How can we live in isolation? We can do it. We can dance in our apartment, we can sing, we can draw, we can type, we can write, we can show each other our Instagram post of our Chanel and Louis Vuitton if you have it. If you don't have all those things in a fancy home, then you got to be creative and invent something that maybe someone might enjoy that you have. But to see that the community feels a sense of, we come together or near people, to have that fear inside of us of other people, that's the tragedy. And then there's a lot of questions, like, who knew? How come we didn't know? What happened to the tycoon in China? How come people sold up to 1.6 million in stocks? Why did CEOs suddenly step down? How come all these people sold stocks before? Lots of questions that you would hope journalists would ask, that you would hope that the people would, hold a standard to their elected politicians. And I hope that people hold their elected politicians to a standard that is just and right for the people, and question stuff before we're not allowed to question. Ask questions, create art, make people laugh, make people smile. It really hurts to see that we may just suddenly hate someone because he might be from China or Italy, or he's got it. But all you can do is do what you do. Love, eat, pray, love, help one another, live. Our world has changed as we know it, but I know this is going to go away. But what are going to be the lingering consequences that stay behind and stay with us? So, thank you for listening, and I hope you stay safe, and I wish your family well.